The music you use in it is key, and the subtitles, everything. You're telling the story of how your product is going to impact the shopper, and they have to see themselves in the video
That's
using the
right.
product,
That's
right?
right.
That's the goal.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And those people better be smiling and happy and enjoying this because it goes right in. It goes right into the brain, and it just sort of gets past that anxiety barrier, as I mentioned. There's one other thing you mentioned, packaging, and I want to circle back to that for a second. Someone at QVC, a buyer from QVC, told me this a long time ago. You sell your product twice at QVC, and the same is with Amazon. You sell it at the moment they add the credit card to the cart, and they buy now, and then you sell it again when that thing arrives at the doorstep. Yeah, most of these things come in an Amazon box. But when you open it up and you see the packaging, it better not be junk. Think about when I don't know if you're an Apple, I don't know if you like Apple products, but if you look at the packaging on Apple. Now, I'm not saying you
Right.
have to go to that extreme. You have to be priced pretty high in order to be able to afford packaging that's cool and that's designed.
Yeah.
But that packaging and that open box experience at the moment the shopper gets it out of the Amazon box and starts to open it is very important. You cannot spend too much time there. And the last thing that I'll say about it, you can't spend too much time with your product development team and your engineering team making it possible to assemble your product without instructions. The closer you can get to allowing them to put this thing together, if it comes KD without detailed, heavy instructions, the better off your experience is, the more you'll build your brand and the more brand searches that will drive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's these days. No, I mean, nobody. You have to have a manual if it's complex, but nobody reads the manual anyway.
No,
So it's
I'm a guy. I never read the manual unless it's until it's too late, right? I don't want
it,
that. I want to intuitively be able to figure out how to assemble this thing.
yeah. So as far as the storytelling and the brand building, everything we talked about is how you avoid competing on price, because if you make your packaging spectacular, impressive, so that when they receive it, they respect the product, they respect the company, and they respect the effort that's gone into producing that. And also, when you have something like that, put the pictures of it on the product detail page. You have to, in other words, we are living in a virtual world, but we want to have that experience as close to reality as possible. So
That's right.
therefore, leave nothing undisclosed in terms of what they're going to receive when they receive it. Show the box, show the packaging, show the labels, take close-up picture of the label, show what's going to be on the label, so they can almost touch the product by looking at the pictures and say, this is what I'm going to get. And then when they get it, I never forget, I went on many years ago, I went on a date. Okay. So this is when those apps were becoming popular, and I went on a date, and I met this lady, and I sat down and we are gonna have coffee, and she took one look at me, and you know what she said? She said, "You look exactly like your pictures."
That's a good thing. You don't want to look worse than your picture, right? You want to look accurate.
Well, I mean, these days, and then I tell you another one. Around the same time, I went on another date with this another woman, and she said to me, "You would never believe it." She said, "I met this guy, and I'm looking for him." You know, of course, they're meeting for the first time, and she says to me, "He finally showed up, tapped on my shoulder." The guy presented himself as 45 years old, whatever, and he was like 80 something, looked nothing like the picture. I mean, how can you
That's
expect?
right. That's
So,
right.
so the product has to be like that. You can't show these fancy
No.
pictures, touched up pictures, and then ship something that's useless. And keep in mind, you're gonna send your product to the FBA location.
Yeah.
They're gonna handle it in the warehouse, even though it's robots. There is still human handling, at least when they receive it. It's gonna get dirty. It's gonna get marked. So put them in a bag or something like that. So those things, so that when they finally receive, when the customer receives that product, it does look exactly like the picture you put on the product detail page. That's going to
Yeah.
make a big difference, right?
That's right, Nick.